everyone, welcome back to my video. Today I'm going to be talking about AP Art and explaining the class and showing off my portfolio. So first off, you might be wondering what even is AP Art. So AP really stands for like an advanced placement class, so basically a college level course, and that's basically what AP Art is. And this class is really in a lot of places in the States where you can take it. I don't really know about other countries. And there's like 3 different parts to your portfolio, which I'm about to get into. So the summer assignment, which is your sketchbook, you basically get your sketchbook in June, and this was my first page that I did. And really the point of the sketchbook is to like write down your strengths and weaknesses and ideas for the class, and just to kind of mess around with art supplies. So like here, for example, I drew hands, and so I practiced drawing hands, but I also used nail polish because I was going to do my nails. And then this is like the areas I want to work on and improve on in AP Art, as well as like a collage, and then like some market swatches, which was me testing out supplies. And that was really the point of your sketchbook, besides also like sketching out your ideas for each art piece, because that is something that is required in your portfolio. And also sketches could be turned in as an artwork to show your planning for each piece. So another part of the summer science sketchbook was who inspires you, which you can see on this other page. So I wrote down some of my favorite artists, and I would always try and make these pages where I kind of had to write a lot, kind of like more fun by adding my own little touches. And so that was my way of doing it, was making the names look more fun and writing my description, what I liked about their art style and what I liked about them as a person. And then the other page, this one is also really important for AP Art, is your topics that you're interested in, because your portfolio for your sustained investigation, which I talk about in the next part, is like the biggest part of your portfolio, and you have to come up with a topic that you like, or else you're not going to enjoy this class and creating artwork for your topic. I also wrote my strengths and weaknesses on this page, and that just shows things that I like to draw and things that I'm not as confident in when it comes to my artwork. And this was to me just practicing watercolors and a little watercolor drawing that I created. That one is actually up on my Instagram if you want to check that out. So the next few pages that I did in my sketchbook were really just me messing around with more of like just supplies that I had, and also sketching out different things like animals I'm not really confident in drawing in, so I tried drawing them, including the tiger lizard. So that was basically my sketchbook. And this was the last part of my sketchbook I did before my sustained investigation, and I would say the most important page is choosing a topic. So I did my top 3, and then I did different brainstorming ideas for artworks I can make throughout the year. And this was also coming up with an inquiry question, which is a question that all of your art is going to be based off of for the entire year, and narrowing down which topic I wanted to do. The sustained investigation part of your AP Art portfolio is probably like literally the biggest part, and it is the part that takes the longest. And as you can see in the background, I'm just going to be showing you my works. So to explain the sustained investigation, it can really be broken down into 3 different parts. So you have your artwork that you make, and you also have your artist statement, which is like the biggest part of writing that you do, and you also have the writing that you have to do to describe each artwork. So I'm gonna go into all of that. Number 1 is the sustained investigation artwork. So you are creating 15 different pieces of art using different mediums, and it is all inquiry based, which means it's based off that question that you come up with at the beginning of your portfolio that you want to answer. Mine personally was, how does social media negatively impact mental health in teenagers? And then I eventually branched this off to how does this affect mental health in teenage girls. And This is supposed to include like your processes, which would be like your sketchbook pages if you didn't have time to really finish your artwork, and your finished artworks. Mine mainly consisted of finished art pieces, but I know a lot of people in my class had a lot that were sketchbook pages. And so these 15 artworks make up 60% of your entire portfolio. So what they're looking for is obviously like evidence of having a lot of skill in your artwork, and also having visual and written evidence of your artwork relating to your inquiry question, which basically means that it all needs to tie back to this overarching question that you came up with at the beginning of the school year, which is why you need to choose a topic that you're very passionate about. And your materials need to add up with your question, like they need to be kind of related to it in some sort of way. And they also like to see practice of you using different materials, different angles, different just whatever, to like show that you aren't just making the same thing over and over and over again. Okay, so now for the last part regarding your instant investigation is your writing, which you're like, okay, that should be pretty easy, like you just need to write to describe your artwork, except it's really not. You only have 100 characters to explain each art piece, and that includes your spaces. So what they kind of expect to be under each art piece that these people are going to read to judge your artwork is you need to have your dimensions of your work. You need to describe what materials you use and why with 100 characters, and that includes your spaces, so really like 50-ish words. And then your processes, which is like how you created the artwork and why you decided to make the artwork that way. And then you also have an artist statement, which is a bit longer, which explains why you made everything the way that you made it, and like why you chose the topic in particular. So yeah, that's it for sustained investigation. So your selected works are a bit easier to explain, and this is the second part of your portfolio. And so what it is basically your 5 best artworks that you made the entire school year, and this makes up 40% of your portfolio. And the artworks can be related to your sustained investigation, but they don't necessarily have to be. And yeah, so that's kind of like what you have to do in terms of art. You don't really have to make anything new. And what I want to look for is design and art concepts and relationships amongst materials, processes, and ideas, and written evidence identifies materials, processes, and ideas. So the writing portion is basically almost identical to your sustained investigation, and the fact that you have to put your dimensions, your materials, which is basically what you used and why, your processes, which is how you make the artwork and why you decided to make it that way. And the new part is your ideas, which I feel like you can really delve into why you wanted to make the artwork and the point of what you wanted to show with the artwork, which you don't really get to do with your sustained investigation. And so that is basically like the only new section where you can really go in depth in a way that you can't really do with your materials and processes. My final thoughts regarding AP Art is that it is a very hard class. Like, it's definitely one of the hardest art classes I've taken, and I definitely wouldn't recommend it for someone who doesn't really take art that seriously, or is just wanting an easy A, because a lot of time and effort truly do go into this class, and you do really have to put a lot of effort into your artwork if you want to score decently. I got a 3. That was my final score for my portfolio, was a 3, which is kind of in the middle, because I think it goes up to a 4. So I think I was on the higher end, which would be like a B+. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, it's a B+. So that was my final score. I do definitely recommend this class if art is definitely something that you really want to consider as a job, and I also think it's a great way to kind of get an idea for college art classes without like the whole, I don't know, like the big grand scheme of college in the end. And my art teacher actually told me that it is harder than some college level art classes, so I definitely think it's a good way to prep for that if that is something that you really want to go into. and it was a fun class. Like, I really liked the freedom that you get with AP Art, so definitely recommend it if you really are into art like that, but if not, probably wouldn't suggest you take it.